Welcome to the Everything Podcast, and in this episode, I am going to be recapping Smith and Sullivan Reunited, The Caller, which was originally released on the 23rd of July 2025, and I'm recording this episode just over a week later on the 31st of July 2025. Before I get on with my recap, here's the trailer for Smith and Sullivan Reunited.
Hello?
From Big Finish Productions, the worlds of Doctor Who, Smith and Sullivan, Reunited.
Come on, K9. We're needed on a story.
Affirmative, mistress.
Don't mind me, just checking the fire doors.
If it isn't Sarah Jane Smith.
Harry! We're dealing with a creature that functions within telephone wires.
It's incredible, isn't it?
She doesn't know anything.
But she will not let go. Something must be done.
Hello?
I'm sorry, the connection is dead. Just like you. Harold Sullivan is dead.
Ah, you're alive. Wonderful. And you're back, too. Looking worse for wear. You've got the metal dog out as well.
Greetings, Aunt Lavinia.
The whole Aladdin's lock up.
Anti-grav units, sections of space armor. K9, scan and identify.
Mistress.
You're from the future. We dabble. Who are you?
Open it. No, don't!
Utterly monstrous.
Help me.
Hand over the component, or you will be vaporized.
Warning, I require assistance.
No! What have you done?
Identified.
We're friends. I'm Sarah Jane Smith. This is Harry Sullivan.
Identities confirmed. You will be destroyed.
What? No!
Down! Big Finish, for the love of stories.
That was the trailer for Smith and Sullivan Reunited, and I showed you that because right now is my recap of Smith and Sullivan Reunited, The Caller. Someone is asking for her money whilst mentioning her sister. Someone rings Pam. This person is attacked by something. Sarah Jane answers the phone to Aunt Lavinia. Aunt Lavinia corrects Sarah Jane. Sarah Jane apologises to Aunt Lavinia. Archie insults Sarah Jane. Sarah Jane writes down a phone number. Someone is delivering a speech. Sarah Jane interrupts Sir Gordon Carmichael. Sarah Jane introduces herself. Harry is listening to Sir Gordon's speech. Sir Gordon mentions Francis and Sarah Jane. A woman mentions Harry, NATO and Unit. Sarah Jane insults K9. K9 defends itself. Sarah Jane apologises to K9. Sarah Jane nearly runs over Harry. Sarah Jane insults Harry. K9 corrects Sarah Jane. Harry meets Benjamin. Harry mentions Sir Gordon. Harry gives Benjamin something. Sarah Jane uses a fake name. Sarah Jane doesn't want someone to call security. Sarah Jane refuses to give up. Sarah Jane and Harry reunite. Sarah Jane notices Harry's untucked shirt. Sarah Jane and Harry catch up. Harry invites Sarah Jane for dinner. Sarah Jane accepts Harry's invitation. Harry gives Sarah Jane a tour. Harry mentions the Doctor. Sarah Jane does an impression of the Doctor. Sarah Jane and Harry discuss the Doctor. Harry mentions Unit. Harry defends Unit. Sarah Jane seemingly doesn't like Unit. Harry accidentally insults Sarah Jane. Sarah Jane mentions currently being a journalist. Harry thanks Benjamin. Sarah Jane recognises Sir Gordon. Sarah Jane convinces Harry to give her a tour. Sarah Jane works out that Harry knows Sir Gordon. Sarah Jane corrects Sir Gordon. Sir Gordon knows who Sarah Jane Smith is. Sir Gordon asks Benjamin to throw out Sarah Jane and Harry. Sarah Jane and Harry disagree. Sarah Jane mentions her car. Harry has worked out that Sarah Jane nearly ran him over. Sarah Jane corrects Harry. Sarah Jane mentions Unit. Sarah Jane introduces Harry and K9 to each other. Someone rings Violet Starling. This person leaves Violet a voicemail whilst mentioning Sarah Jane and Harry. Violet hears her voicemail. Violet's voicemail mentions Sarah Jane. K9 corrects Harry. Sarah Jane compliments K9. Harry mentions the Doctor. K9 corrects Harry. Sarah Jane, Harry and K9 arrive at Sarah Jane's home. Sarah Jane and K9 update Harry. Sarah Jane mentions Fleet Street and privatisation. Harry mentions Unit. Sarah Jane mentions Sir Gordon. Harry defends Sir Gordon. Sarah Jane reveals her theory. K9 lists multiple companies. Harry corrects K9. Sarah Jane informs Harry what a pile of paperwork is. Sarah Jane asks Harry to search through some paperwork. Harry promises to help Sarah Jane. Harry wants K9's help. K9 corrects Harry. K9 agrees to record Harry's findings. Harry asks K9 to keep him awake. Harry compliments K9. Harry calls out for K9 and Sarah Jane. Harry answers the phone to Aunt Lavinia. Aunt Lavinia mentions Sarah Jane. Aunt Lavinia reveals Sarah Jane was meant to pick her up 30 minutes ago. Harry introduces himself to Aunt Lavinia. Harry insults K9. Harry reminds Sarah Jane of picking up Aunt Lavinia. Sarah Jane and Harry pick up Aunt Lavinia. Harry and Aunt Lavinia discuss Sarah Jane. Sarah Jane believes she, Harry and Aunt Lavinia are being followed. Sarah Jane apologises. Harry mentions central London. Sarah Jane chooses to drive faster. Sarah Jane asks Harry to drive Aunt Lavinia to her house. Sarah Jane is forced into a car. Harry makes Aunt Lavinia a cup of tea. Harry and Aunt Lavinia discuss Sarah Jane. Aunt Lavinia attempts to reassure Harry. Harry apologises to Aunt Lavinia. Aunt Lavinia corrects Harry. Harry talks to K9. K9 corrects Harry. Harry asks K9 to help him rescue Sarah Jane. Sarah Jane believes she has been kidnapped. Someone disagrees with this theory. This person demonstrates how some technology works. Sarah Jane recognises Violet Starling. Violet mentions Sir Gordon. Sarah Jane and Violet mention Violet's dad. Violet wants to work with Sarah Jane. Violet mentions communication and privatisation as well as the company she is the CEO for. Harry checks on K9. K9 corrects Harry. Harry mentions Sir Gordon. Harry considers K9 his backup. Violet explains how a specific device works to Sarah Jane. Sarah Jane mentions the last 8 months. Sarah Jane mentions Violet's shareholder. Sarah Jane questions Violet. Violet gets Sarah Jane evicted from the building. Violet corrects Sarah Jane. The caller wants to get rid of Sarah Jane. Harry reunites with Sir Gordon. Harry lies to Sir Gordon. Harry mentions Sarah Jane and Unit. Sir Gordon mentions Unit. Harry convinces Sir Gordon to give him some specific paperwork. Sarah Jane corrects Harry. Sarah Jane reads out a note from Aunt Lavinia. Harry mentions further repairs. Harry and Sarah Jane's call is interrupted. Sarah Jane warns Harry. The caller wants Harry dead. K9 saves Harry. K9 updates Harry. K9 asks Harry to retrieve something. Harry informs Sarah Jane that K9 saved him. Sarah Jane mentions Archie. Harry and K9 update Sarah Jane. Harry gives K9 credit. K9 corrects Harry. Aunt Lavinia is pleased that Sarah Jane is alive. K9 says hello to Aunt Lavinia. Sarah Jane asks Aunt Lavinia to not use telephone boxes. Harry compliments Aunt Lavinia. Sarah Jane asks K9 to do something. Sir Gordon calls Violet. Violet corrects Sir Gordon. Sir Gordon mentions Harry and the police. Violet mentions Sir Gordon's wife. Violet relieves she has been tracking Sir Gordon. Violet also reveals who Sir Gordon has recently called. Violet reveals her true feelings about her dad. The caller attacks Sir Gordon. The caller attempts to reassure Violet. Sarah Jane calls Violet. Sarah Jane mentions Harry. Violet reveals how the caller came to exist. Violet mentions her dad. Violet reveals why she uses the caller. Sarah Jane reminds Violet that the caller has killed multiple people. Sarah Jane mentions K9. Sarah Jane corrects Violet. Sarah Jane speaks to the caller. Sarah Jane raises her voice at the caller. Aunt Lavinia accidentally calls Sarah Jane. The caller attacks Aunt Lavinia. Sarah Jane asks Harry to do something. Harry asks K9 to do something. Sarah Jane compliments K9. Sarah Jane has tricked Violet. Sarah Jane says goodbye to Violet. K9 warns Sarah Jane and Harry of danger. Sarah Jane corrects Harry. Violet and the caller discuss Sarah Jane. The caller has caused a fire. K9 corrects Harry. Sarah Jane notices a fire. K9 reveals how the caller started the fire. Sarah Jane interrupts K9. K9 introduces itself to Violet. Sarah Jane and Harry reveal the caller's plan. K9 proposes something. K9 accompanies Harry to do this. K9 asks no. No, wrong way around. Harry asks K9 to destroy something. Violet asks for Sarah Jane's help. K9 reveals a distance. Harry and K9 find a way to return to the ground. K9 corrects Harry. K9 asks Harry to hold on. Harry screams. Sarah Jane outsmarts the caller. The caller attacks Violet. Sarah Jane apologizes to the caller. Sarah Jane, Harry and K9 reunite. Sarah Jane checks on K9. Sarah Jane mentions the fire brigade. K9 thanks Harry. Sarah Jane mentions units. Sarah Jane thanks Harry. Sarah Jane realizes that Aunt Lavinia is upset. Aunt Lavinia reveals why she's upset. Aunt Lavinia believes she is stubborn. Aunt Lavinia gives Sarah Jane some advice. Sarah Jane and K9 find Harry. Sarah Jane and K9 convince Harry to stay with her and K9. Harry mentions K9 and K9 calls Harry Master. And that is my recap of Smith and Sullivan Reunited, the caller, Sarah Jane Smith, Sarah Jane, Harry, K9 and Aunt Lavinia will all return in the other two stories as part of the Smith and Sullivan Reunited box set. I haven't started writing, never mind finished writing either of those, but they will be coming soonish. But back to this episode. Let me know what you thought of Smith and Sullivan Reunited, the caller, if you listened to it. My recap, if you didn't, you can put your thoughts on both of those in the comments below. As always, anything else you want me to cover on the channel, such as any previews or recaps, put those in the comments below as well. Remember, you can also like, comment and subscribe. And just a reminder that there are now 2 podcast episodes released every single day, with the first episode released at 11 AM GMT and the second episode released at 3 PM GMT. And I will see you in a future episode of the podcast. See you then. Goodbye.